Cancer, the moon is in Scorpio and she's wanting you to feel empowered, to embrace change, to, even though we go through an intense periods of times in our life, that to look through and remember that you have survived this so far, you've made it this far, you've thrived through this, and to feel empowered in that. Stay tuned to find out how to work more with these energies. Oh, it's a little intense with Scorpio. But before we jump into that, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just the greatest, y'all. And it keeps us changing, evolving, keeps us powerful with Scorpio. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. Now, this is also a channel for those of you who have Cancer in your placement. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, Pluto, wherever. I'm actually reading a book by an author, her Pluto's in Cancer. This one's for you. And I do tarot cards with the face of our brother here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and what she's going for. Of course, it's all those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest there, and everything will be dope. Now, let's jump into it. Alrighty, Cancer. I think I got everything. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all right here, Cancer. And hopefully there is great energy all around here, Cancer, because depending on when you're watching this, happy Sunday. Sunday's associated, I'll give you a guess what day Sunday's associated with. But Sunday is a day to feel alive, to feel in your energies. This is usually the time in the progression of this. This is the first day of the week. You know, the sun's starting everything off, and then we move on to this progression. But this is great for checking in with your health. This is really great for time for just like kind of shining bright in your energy. I would say with where the sun's being at, in where, you know, with the sun being in Cancer still, this could be a great time to, again, to look into emotionally how that's going on. How's your emotional health going? What's the, especially when we're under this Scorpio full moon as well. We want to pay attention to that, see if there are anything that we're noticing that is coming up. But also too, look at if you're going to schedule like a doctor's appointment or something like that. If you can schedule it around the sun hour, I've read where that can be something very beneficial. So play around with that, Cancer. And also, even with that, I've heard how does it go? If the doctor's, oh goodness, it's like if the doctor's sun sign matches your moon sign or something like. Oh, I just heard something about this not too long ago. But there's even a match with that. So find out what your doctor's zodiac sign is. That could be very beneficial. Oh yes, if their sun sign I think matches your moon sign or something like, or if your sun sign matches your moon sign. I'm not going to confuse with that, but definitely check that out there, Cancer. See if you can find that ever. I know I got it in a book somewhere, but that's what I got for you on Sundays. Now let's talk about them lunar shenanigans. Because depending on when you're watching this, the moon is going to be entering into Scorpio at about 7:52 a.m. and that's going to be Pacific time. And we're in a waxing gibbous phase right now. And this may be where some things might come up for you, because this is the period of time when the moon is going to eventually be forming a trine with the sun, and the trines usually happen when the celestial bodies are in like elements, so water elements, fire elements, air elements, earth elements, and it initiates this energy of flow. There's movement with this energy, and so this could be a really great time with Scorpio to pay attention to what is flowing on beneath the surface. You know, when I'm thinking about opposite signs, this could, I'm thinking about Taurus is the opposite sign of Scorpion, with Taurus being the earth sign. Scorpio you can think about is the waters that's running beneath the earth. So this can be the time to check in with the inner workings, the caves, the dark spaces within you, Cancer, and see how things are moving as they make sense for you. This is not something where we're forcing ourselves into. But if you're noticing something that is coming up for you, that's ready to move, that's ready to be addressed, that you're ready to be, that you're ready to work on. This can be, Scorpio energy can be great for sharing some things with some friends, possibly maybe even doing some sort of therapy, possibly if that's something that resonates, working with a coach, possibly maybe talking with just someone that you trust. These are, Scorpio can deal with secrets, and I feel like this can be a time where you can even look into the secrets that you've been keeping from yourself, possibly here. There may be some secrets that may come up with others, because again, Scorpio is very intuitive. This, I mean, very, very intuitive. And I feel like if you're sensing something, I would say this can be a great time to take some action, and not in an aggressive way. Just be like, hey, I think this is what's going on and it's making me feel this. You know, I feel like we always want to, when we're thinking about water energy, just saying what we're experiencing, and is, hey, is that true? You know, and then bring it out objectively. And that way I feel like it keeps it from becoming an argument, because Scorpio can be, you know, that's ruled by very action oriented planets, being, you know, Mars and Pluto. So Scorpio can come in with a sting. So you want to be, I feel, kind of mindful of that during this time. But this can be a time where you can really journey into yourself. When I was even thinking about that cave analogy, Taurus deals with like our physical senses, our taste, touch, but Scorpio deals more so with the senses that we can't, our sixth senses, those deeper senses in life. This is something where we're getting into the taboo of things. The moon cycle is resetting, and I feel like the energies are resetting too. This is a time to kind of look at where maybe where you've been repressing some sort of energies. You know, maybe I was just actually talking with my partner not too long ago. They were talking about, they used to like do things where they would, you know, talk with their ancestors, or, you know, really kind of powerful intuitive stuff. And I was like, you know what, maybe, you know, try to get back into those sort of practices. This is, you know, I feel like the age is getting a little bit more open now that we've, you know, with Neptune being in Pisces, talking about all this spirituality, but there's still a little bit of about it. But I feel like we all know, you know, everyone knows someone who, that ancestor or that relative or that someone who could commune with spirits. This is a time to embrace that. That's a powerful gift. Scorpio is one that could just really, they connect again on such a deep level. And so this can be too, though, Scorpio does deal with power, and just paying attention to where maybe some sort of like trauma happened. Maybe there was some sort of emotional abuse. Maybe there was some sort of physical vandalization, something along those lines where we've taken that narrative for a while, because Scorpio is a fixed sign. And so sometimes we can store those emotions, and it can be to our detriment. It'll get us to where we're just spiraling. And Scorpio is about that release. Scorpio is meant to move us through the waste. You know, Scorpio energy, where, you know, when you think about like you know, I'm usually, and I'm you know, I've been guilty of it too, when I see someone going through like Scorpio energy, like a progressed moon in Scorpio, or maybe going through like an eighth house transit, or if they have eighth house placements, Scorpio placements, like, oh boy, okay, what's but you know, that's not even like a warning. Scorpio is some of the most of most of those, I'm surprisingly, the Mars signs like Scorpio and Aries, those are some of the nicest, loving people that I've ever met, really, in my experience, especially Scorpio. And I feel that it's just a lot. I'm feeling a lot, as you can see, with coming with the Scorpio here. But this really is one to, because I can go on and on about this, but I do feel like there is an appreciation for life with Scorpio as well, because of course they deal with death, and that's always a touchy subject. But it's one of those things where it's again, we all go through this experience, but it's not meant to be where you just don't do anything. It's like meant to be the opposite. It's just like, okay, I only have this finite amount of time. I'm going to make sure I do the most with this. Scorpio is very passionate and very tenacious. So this is like, how have I not been following my heart? Where have I been denying my intuition, denying maybe my passions? You know, where have I been not making more time? I want to make more time for my loved ones. I remember, this was a couple years back. We were just, my partner and I, we were just had dinner. We were at this bar, and we were just kind of just wrapping up. He was going to the bathroom, and I was just sitting at this table, and it was a bar we normally go to, and I'm just like kind of swirling around this little thing of wine, and I'm just like, just kind of reflecting over the night. I was just like, man, this is a really great evening. And then the bartender comes behind me and goes, Eugene fainted. And I mean, my heart dropped. And it was just like, that's Scorpio, though. It was like such a life, like life just kind of happened. And life just happens like that. It'll be when you least expect it. And that's, that could have been a whole thing where I became super anxious. And it did take me a while I was like a little on edge after that. That took me a minute to kind of settle in after that. But it also reminded me, too, to appreciate every moment because they are fleeting. Anything could happen at any given moment. And it made me realize, too, that the beauty in this kind of Scorpio energy is that even though if something were to have happened, let's say, that was the last moment that the Last Supper, I could at least look back at that, and at least my last moments there, I was like, the space was just love there. It was a great space to be in, and that was a great space I get chills even just thinking about that. Like I feel really good about that, and that's what Scorpio can get you to, where you just remember those moments and just take in more of the present, live with that stark awareness that life is like, this can get out of my hands in any second. So let me do this thing. Let that not make me afraid, but let that make me empowered. So, but that's what I got with that energy there. Again, I could talk about that all day. And if you have your moon in Scorpio, this is one where pay attention to, with any kind of water moons, water placements, there's, and even not just to those, there's just so much energy around that's just so thoughtlessly at the moment just put out there. And it's I feel like things are starting to evolve, but there's a lot of energies out there. You want to make sure that what you're doing, like any sort of regular cleanses, maybe doing something to work out the body. I feel like with Scorpio and having this like kind of Martian more, like, and that's the traditional ruler of Scorpio, but having that kind of more Martian energy, maybe doing some sort of like yoga, or maybe doing some kind of like, maybe like hot yoga, something real kind of intense, or something. I don't know, maybe even going I don't know, I was just, for some reason I was even thinking rock climbing, but only take that. I don't think every Scorpio moon should rock climb, but more so something to help get your energies moving when you feel like something is getting stuck. I would say, if you can find someone you can share this with, if you need to, maybe, then just again, only if you feel this resonates. I feel like not every Scorpio moon has had some sort of like super, crazy trauma or anything. But if you just have a lot of emotions and things, just having someone that you can share that stuff with. But Scorpio too is a great financial sign. This could be, moon in Scorpio. You could be really great with people. You could read people intuitively. When someone's feeling off, when they're feeling this, or where, hey, you may be making a mistake here. Scorpio is very sharp. So this kid, pay attention to that deep intuition, especially with the Scorpio moon. Sure, the moon is in fall in Scorpio, but that doesn't mean she stops working. She has to work a little harder, but she's working with a different set of tools so she can feel a lot deeper. And so how do you keep that in a space, because maybe you just need a little more alone time. You have more kind of like intimate settings, something to kind of play around with this moon. But you're meant to be, this is not one where this moon should be afraid to feel. It's just learning how to feel in a way that doesn't overwhelm you or the people around you, because it is intense, kind of this magnetic energy. So, but yeah, be aware of any sort of like, follow the moon. Absolutely. Knowing where your moon placement, your moon needs, the house system that's in that, or excuse me, the house that in, can be very helpful with working through your moon placement. So now let's talk about the void of course energy. This is kind of a short one there. So if you find yourself, we got 49 hours of void of course time, depending on when this is coming out. I'm at we've been about, let's see, about 18 hours in, and I'm adding some other things in, but that's just considering the detox time that I do in the hour or the day and the night. So it's like, I'll add those. I already know what those are looking like, because I automatically do those, and then I'll add some other time. I have it on the timer that I'm writing down. But if you need some extra time during these Scorpio moons, if you know that your chart is one that gets lit up, I know that when the moon's going through Scorpio for me, she's hitting up all of my placements. All of my planets are getting talked to sans my moon, but that's a lot that's going on. So I make sure to be mindful of that day, that, I make sure I have plans that are more calming, I'm being, giving myself space for this energies, because it could be a lot that is coming up. So with this void, of course, it's going to be happening on the 16th of July, and that'll be on a Mars day, Tuesday, and it's going to be a pretty short one. It's from 6:10 p.m. to 6:24, and the void, of course, is a great time. It's when the moon forms her final aspect with a celestial body, and then she just kind of roams the void. She reflects on this energy in Scorpio. It's where this energy is becoming a memory. And keep in mind too, this is happening. The conjunction with Uranus and Mars, the traditional ruler of Scorpio, is going to be happening on Monday. And interestingly enough, and I agree with this, it's been said, I remember reading somewhere, where the outer planets they've not been given signs that they're exalted in, but I've read somewhere where Uranus is exalted in Scorpio, and I really like that, especially considering that square to his sign in Aquarius. I feel like that's just perfect for Uranus. But I feel like there is a lot that's going to be happening through that. So if you need that time to process what's been going on, maybe there were a lot of emotions that came up during that, take a couple days. You got 49 hours guilt free. just take them if that's what the energy calls for. Respect your energies during this time. Be compassionate with yourself, because the aspect that forms the void, of course, usually flavors it. And this is going to be forming a trine with Neptune. And when the moon is forming a trine, yes, it's something intense, but it's something that you can work on moving through. It's a different conversation with that sun than with the sun and the moon. The sun may have started off this initiation, this movement, and now it'll pass it off to Neptune that'll help end and process that in Pisces. So it's kind of this beautiful pass off that's happening between the sun and Neptune, between the moon, if you want to look at it like that. But I do feel like that is a time where, allow yourself maybe to watch something to engage into some sort of fantasy. Maybe if you've been dealing with I was just thought about this the other day. If you've maybe gone through some anger, maybe watching an action film, maybe you can kind of help pinpoint where the source of that is coming from. Or maybe you're feeling some sort of sadness. Maybe you can watch something to kind of help you process what's going on, to kind of see it play out outside of you, to kind of help get a clearer view of what's going on with you. Because again, Scorpio can see things very clearly. Their intuition is just razor sharp. So that's just some ways I feel like you can kind of work with this energy that's coming through. Can be a little tricky with Scorpio, but you can always feel great coming out at the end of it. It's just this release. You can think of it as just the phoenix that's rising from the ashes, or that's rising, it grows, and then it combusts, and then rises again from whatever experiences that have happened into something new and new opportunities for growth. So, and if you're curious about how these energies are showing up in your chart, wanting to get more familiar what times to look out for and to watch out for when certain celestial bodies are aspecting your chart more personally, look down in the description box below. I have a link to book a consultation call with me. We can talk about the different packages that I offer, see what kind of concerns that you're going with, how long we would want to work together. And the part of this is not to get you where you're just like looking at me all the time. It's to get you fluent in your chart, so that, when you have that space in between, you want to, we're living life, just stay glued to the chart. But it is nice when you're going through something like what's going on in my chart. Like I was just looking at my lunar return chart right now. That I've been wanting this kind of sense of community, and I've been playing around with some house systems, and I found one that I really like, and this one really kind of resonates with me a lot more, and honestly, a lot of the people I've been working with too, but I've been looking into different kind of volunteer things. My moon's in the 11th house, and I really enjoy them. I think that's something would be very fulfilling with what's going on for me this month. So these can be some great insights, some great tools to see how you're working with stuff. Again, if you have Cancer placements, knowing where your progressed moon is at can be very useful. And if you need, look on sites like AstroSeek. They have a really useful tool where you can see a list of the progressions and kind of get an idea of at least dates of where to kind of look out for, to kind of be like, what's going on with me internally. And then if you have questions, you want to look a little bit further as far to kind of pin this down, book a reading with me. I can definitely help kind of make more sense for you. So, but only if that resonates. And then last little thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific, so apply these readings to people as they make sense for your situation. But before we get into the tarot here, I've been wanting to start this new thing, just something that resonated. I forgot to do in the last one, but I'm gonna make it more of a thing where before we get into the tarot, I'm gonna bring some good vibes into here. So if you're listening to this on a device or headphones or things, you may want to adjust the volume. But I'm gonna ring this bell a few times, kind of clear the vibes, and then we'll get started on the tarot. So let's do this thing. I'm ready, Cancer. There you guys, let's do this thing. Oh, Cancer, look at you. Bringing awareness. You got the awareness card here. Look at your third eye just lighting up. I'm with it. And this is a card of key to healing, notice patterns and illusions, and pause. And absolutely. This reminds me, this awareness card is air energy, and that reminds me of Gemini. And Gemini and Scorpio they're very similar in that regard. Both are very sharp in noticing Gemini is more kind of noticing like the nuances, the gestures and things. They're kind of like they're the twins. There can be the chameleons, the mirror that's looking back at you. And Scorpio, same thing. It can really kind of detect when word choices, different tone inflections, pauses. And I feel that there's the key to healing, to unlocking these and seeing where you have these blockages in us, is noticing the patterns, is getting that awareness first, because you can't fix what you can't see. And I feel that this is with Pluto being the modern ruler of Scorpio. Pluto goes down to the depths. He digs deep. He's pulling up all these, he's pulling out all the rot in things that have not been working, the illusions that we may have cast upon ourselves, this fear that we can't have anything, that we can't manifest our dreams, that we're, that life is only this, all the restrictions that have been the imprints and the whatever that is experiences that have been keeping us down and has made us feel less than. The key to healing is pausing and being with that, tapping into this third eye of awareness. And this is not something I say you have to do alone. That's the beautiful part of this journey. None of this you have to do alone. Scorpio is about taking taking the bond from Libra and taking it deeper, taking it further. Okay, now we're married, but what happens when you get sick? Now I gotta take, then I get to see you. I have to see you on a different level. I have to take care of you in a different way. And just like how we would take care of a partner when they're sick and when they're not feeling at their greatest, we have to do the same things, or it's beneficial to do the same things for ourselves. We're not expected to be on all the time. There are times where we go through intense changes where we can get caught up in maybe some patterns and things, and where Scorpio can help us see where, and someone can maybe help point out the power struggle again so that you can just change the narrative, so that you can evolve this thing again. I'm thinking about Scorpio and how they relate to the body. I knew that Scorpio, of course, ruled like the rectum, the genitals, but Scorpio is also associated with the nostrils and like because that's where, a lot of mucus drains, the sweat glands. And so it's like a lot of movement with Scorpio. This is, I feel. Yeah, let me get some tarot on this and get some details with this awareness. Because that's what I feel this, even with the astrology where things are happening. This, especially with Saturn and Neptune finishing up this time in Pisces, and they're going to finish it up around the same time. And then both move into Aries this following year. Is this awareness that I feel like is trying to happen collectively, because we have more control in power in this realm than we realize, but we have to see where we've been disempowered, where we've surrendered some of our power to. Okay, but let me get this in order here. Thank you, guys. Oh, love it. All right, so you have the 10 of Ariel, the King of Michael, the 3 of Ariel, and then the Leap of Faith card here, which is Archangel Metatron. And let's talk about, I was just talking about Uranus. Let's talk about that for a minute, because this is the full card. It could be associated with Uranus. But this is a card of believe in yourself. Listen to your heart. Do what gives you joy. And I would see, and especially coupled with this 3 of Ariel, do what gives you joy, but this one is do what you love, a time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors, working with others in a cooperative manner. So both of these cards right here, this leap of faith, this 3 of Ariel, this is wanting you to, see where you've not been, like I was saying, following your heart with Scorpio, where maybe you've been operating from this place of fear, possibly, where you may have been afraid to go after your 10 of Ariel. This is a card of there's so much to be grateful for, financial success and the promise of retirement, a rich and rewarding family life. And I feel like that is always yours. There's so much abundance to come around, but I feel like there's this programming that is being worked out collectively that's happening. That is, you can do what you love, that everyone can get to this 10 of Ariel, that is not just meant for this, for like a select few of people. Like, what would be the point of that? No, it's, and I feel like it's finding these people here who are wanting to support this growth as well. If you're around energies that are keeping you down, keeping you, kind of sapping from your health a bit, sapping from your vitality, maybe it's something that you're locked into, that you're fixed in, some sort of weird manipulative situation. Like I'm thinking like a toxic work environment. It could be, maybe there's a relationship that's only, but the Ariel cards, these are the Pentacles. And the Pentacles can deal with not just your finances, which is what Scorpio can deal with. It can deal with your health, can deal with your manifestation. And so I just think we want to make sure to look at things with this discernment, with this clarity, with the King of Michael, because this is a card of principled, rational, ambitious, respected. And this is a card of wisdom and objectivity are important now. Stay in your integrity, a situation that calls for honest and open communications. And so with Scorpio, maybe for some we may need to have, and I feel like we want to be mindful with this Uranus conjunction and Mars conjunction. I feel like I do agree with this open and honest communication, but before we react on that, I feel like it maybe just understanding that, yes, the situation needs to change, and I want to make sure that I'm coming at it with this level-headedness, coming with this clarity, make sure that I understand my emotions and that I consider how this could potentially go south, or how I could be, potentially wind up to this. What is the pattern in this relationship? Because when I go against it, that pattern's going to try to keep me ensnared, and I'm going to need to, again, come with that sense of discernment, that sense of clarity in order to keep that. So that's something to pay attention to. But I do also feel with this as well, with Scorpio, there's this deep intuition. They talk about some third eye stuff. Scorpios, because it took Scorpio like 10 eyes. Scorpio can really, I feel that if there's something that you're wanting to manifest, there's this dream, this 10 of Ariel, this legacy that you're wanting to believe. This is the year, this is the energy to do the things that you love, to bring more of those passions and things into your journey, to go with gusto, go without fear, and see where we've been operating from, understand what's been manipulating the energies. But let's get a little bit more on this. Let's see what else is going on here. All right, so you have the three of Gabriel, the six of Raphael, the four of Michael, and then the knight of Michael here. Let's start with this Knight of Michael because you're getting a lot of Michaels here, a lot of air energy that's coming through. And this is a strong. The Knight of Michael is strong, committed, intellectual, and diligent. Time to move quickly. Choose logic over emotion. Sudden changes. And I feel like this choose logic over emotion is not that we're ignoring the emotion, but I do feel that it is that things are happening, and sometimes the emotions can, when we're thinking about fixed water, when water's getting stuck and is backed up, it starts accumulating this muck here. This six of Raphael, embrace your inner child, new friends or rekindled relationships, children or childhood. This deals with very past kind of energies here, and I feel like something maybe is coming up, something that is needing a bit, maybe we're seeing it from a past lens, whatever this old thing, but now there's this new awareness that's happening, and the thing is wanting you to see a present situation as see something for what it is. Like this is time to where we may have a lot of emotions about it. We need to see this there's this objectivity that's happening. Let's talk about the three of Gabriel, because this is prosperity arising from wise planning. Time to take the next step. Optimistic plans that turn out as expected. And so if there's something that's been needing to change, maybe this is a relationship with a parent, possibly, or in like a family dynamic, maybe it's something in a relationship dynamic or work dynamic. I do feel this three of Gabriel is one that I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on that wise planning, that if we can approach this from consider what we have learned in the emotions and let that translate. It's like the left and the right brain are working together in this. I don't think we want to be so cold in this. Like I'm not quite sure what that's about with that King of Michael. There's something, maybe even something that we're oscillating about. Maybe we might even be just something to consider. There may even be a little too much logic in something. Let's talk about this Four of Michael for a minute, because I think that'll give me what I'm looking for. Because this is the card of insights that come from quiet meditation, the need for more sleep or time off, seek relief from stress. And okay, because that's what I'm kind of feeling here. There's something about maybe it's like one minute we're thinking very clear, and then maybe something happens, and then we have this doubt. It's like this like kind of oscillating energy. And this is maybe the perfect time, again, considering where we're at right now, maybe let this moon in Scorpio, maybe share this with someone else, with that three of Ariel. This is not something, if you're, doing this by yourself, taking some time to meditate over a situation, to sleep on it, take the lunar cycle, get some time, and I think some clarity would come with this. But even this time to move quickly can just be like, hey, it just might be time to talk with someone about this. Like, it may be time to, you may sense that, like, you know what, I can't be like this anymore. I can't be in this situation anymore. But, Let me get one more with this, and then we're going to get some advice from Mars here. Oh, how lovely. Okay, well, so you got the Ten of Raphael here, and I like that's Ten of Cups energy, and this is a card of love and blessings fill your life. Harmonious relationships with family members, happily ever after. And I feel like that's what happens with Scorpio. Whatever this was, because I feel like a lot kind of going on in this, but I feel that we always get through the other side of this. This is something where if there's a lot that's coming up with you, again, Four of Michael, take some time, do some meditation, or maybe take some time and talk with, look to your moon sign. You know, look to what your moon sign needs. Maybe you need to get in a different environment. You know, maybe you have like me, like Moon and Gemini. Maybe you need to take like a little trip. Maybe hop on the bus somewhere, go for a ride, or maybe you need to journal this out, or maybe your moon's in Sag. Maybe you need to go on an adventure. Maybe go somewhere you've never been before. Hop in a car, buy a bus ticket somewhere, just go somewhere. You know, maybe your moon's in Pisces. Maybe you need to take a nap. Maybe you need to, you know, allow yourself some space to just kind of zone out a little bit. Maybe you need to watch a movie, get connected to source. Whatever this is, I feel like that's where that can really maybe help during this moon in Scorpio energy. But let's get some advice from Mars and Pluto. Oh, look at this. You have the rainbow card here, Cancer. And this is a card of sweet relief, new beginnings, and a new way forward. Absolutely. And let's switch back over. Because with this rainbow card, again, this is just like that Ten of Raphael, a little bit more, I feel, kind of confirmation that Scorpio is not just a thunderstorm. It's again some of the greatest people that I know have the Scorpio place. I actually got to get in touch with a Scorpio here soon, but Scorpio provides movement for new ways. Scorpio shows us where, like, oh, I thought that I couldn't do this thing because of that, but that's true. The illusion, or that isn't true. This illusion's been shattered. So now I can. What a relief. What a relief that this is not going to last forever. That's something too with Scorpio. The water's going to get moving again. You know, maybe we reached a point where there was something that was blocking it. It's just like, what is this blockage? You got to work with this for a little bit. We got to build past this. But the water always finds a way to get past something. You can only keep water, I feel like, whether that be, you know, and I'm not even just thinking like bursting through. Sometimes you can't burst through things. Sometimes, you know, maybe the water is trapped in an isolated spot. That could be Scorpio. Maybe it's like more swampy. Maybe it's the air needs to or the water needs to evaporate. You know, evaporate to the air and do it a different type of way. Maybe that's how it's moving throughout. But there is always movement. You know, things do we do get through this. We do get past this. And it can feel just like in this sweet release, this like, I just thought chef's kiss. So we're gonna end that there. So if you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and then subscribe there. You take a leap of faith, subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each day. And then last little bit, if you want to see what's going on in the celestial weather and see what, as far as like what are the other celestial bodies are doing, come on over to my other channel, Alchemist State, where I do weekly videos and talk about that. I actually started doing these placement videos where I talk about different planets in different houses and different signs, and I actually got Uranus in Scorpio right here. I think I'm going to do that next. But yeah, I do different videos. They're more shorter videos, and it's meant to be not just to see what could possibly come up with this combination for planets, but if you have this combination of planets or know someone with this combination of planets, then put something in the comments, talk about your experience with it, and you know, if we get enough action on it, maybe we'll make a part 2, or maybe even better, schedule like a live sort of thing. You know, I'm trying to build this sense of community. I'm still figuring out how the internet works, but I'm getting there. And yeah, again, if you want to book a reading with me, all that information, it's down in the description box below. But let me get your angel oracle card here, which these cards are real special here. I bust them out for this Cancer new moon, since it's for the lunar recycle or lunar reset. But these cards have represented by different celestial bodies, different comments, different all types of stuff. It's really cool. They have different meanings, of course, like different phrases, different things of protection that they bring over. And then towards the bottom, they'll talk about different crystals, and maybe those could be some that you work with, or look into them and see what energies that they bring, what energies they cover. Maybe you can introduce more of that into your life, certain time zones, and maybe even answers for certain things at, you know, whatever we're happy to be looking through. But let me get these cards here. Let me see what the guides have for you. All right. Thank you, guys. Let's see what's going on here. All right, you got Raphael, and I love this. So he is. Oh, he's got a couple energies here. So he is associated with Vesta. That's one of the comments, which is a comment that's got service, retreat, dedication. There's a lot of energy with Vesta. I know like a little bit about Vesta, and then you have a symbol here of Saffronson. You can tell I practice these, right? This is about gaining experience, moderation. And then you have the energy of Neptune here, which, Neptune is mysterious and spiritual. Oh, hold on, I'm trying to fix something here. I'll fix that later. Deals with our intuition, deep psychic energies, compassion. But Raphael is the archangel of resurrection. I think that's very, very noteworthy for Scorpio, very appropriate. This talks about a fire of purification, or he's associated with the fire of purification, with Scorpio too. We were talking about that Phoenix. It's a card of holiness, truth, and love, increases faith, and overcoming addiction. And so I love this. This gives me this energy of like picturing this any sort of blockages that you feel in your body. Just like really imagine yourself like, oh, I remember doing like a meditation with this one. So it's like you're surrounding yourself with this kind of this cosmic flame, this bright white flame. And it's just like it's burning away any blockages, any of that thick energy that's just been coated onto you, and it's just bringing this sense of, again, that sweet relief, this rainbow that's happening here. And with Raphael, he says, I burn up blocks to ascension and turn the energy of negative emotions into productive actions you can take. Again, very Scorpio. This guy, I'm surprised he doesn't have Mars or Pluto on here. But that's what Scorpio's doing. Scorpio's not just, again, meant to be these negative emotions. This is knowing that it's celebrating in the fact that you can feel as deeply as Scorpio can. That's a gift, to be able to feel that way, to have such an appreciation for this life that we're in. Now, a crystal that it mentions to work with is maybe amber, so that might be something to look into. Now, as far as a time frame, if we're looking for an answer for something, it says very soon. So this could be maybe you're getting maybe a project that's getting ready to start, or maybe you're looking for the answer to something. Maybe you're wondering when you're going to get over or get through something here. Very soon. This guy, I feel like it's just how are we working with this, and then if you're having troubles, if it's not feeling soon enough, the last thing that he mentions is asking for help. You're not alone in this journey. They talk about, you came in alone in this journey, you go out by yourself in this journey, but that's not true. You come in with someone greeting you. You're coming with someone there. And I know the story can always be different with, depending on Scorpio here, but let's be real, not everyone comes born into an ideal situation, but there's someone there. There's someone there, even if it's just your angels, even that sometimes. And, sometimes we need to find that energy within, to these moments where we're by ourselves can be very insightful times. But again, this is something, if you don't feel like you have to suffer it through, or, when we're talking about Neptune, you don't need to do this like martyr energy. You can be in that state of a victim. You can get out of this. You're powerful, you're stronger, and you can do this. So I think I'm going to leave that there. So stay mindful out there. Stay present. Stay grounded. Keep eyes on the moon. You seize the day and the night. And I will catch you on the next one, Mars Day.